Today we're going to talk about tonicization and secondary dominant secondary chords. Now, tonicization is where we make a chord that isn't the tonic, so a chord that isn't chord 1, sound like the tonic chord. It has the same pull. It feels like it wants to move to that chord that isn't chord 1. And we can use secondary dominant chords to help us with that. There are different types of secondary chords, but we're going to be talking about secondary dominants, 5/7 chords. Now, we place those before a chord that we want to tonicize so that we get a 5/1 perfect cadence. But the 1 is not the actual one of the key, it's the chord that we've chosen to tonicize. For example, in this progression from the Rodgers and Hart tune Blue Moon, we have F major 7, D minor 7, G minor 7, and C7, a progression of chords 1, 6, 2, and 5, quite a common chord progression in many tunes. We can tonicize the G minor 7 chord by using a secondary dominant of D7 in place of the D minor 7. This is how that original progression sounds. And here's how it sounds with the secondary dominant. It's quite a subtle change, but it does add a little bit of colour, and you can hear the pull now towards the G minor 7 as being some sort of a home chord, even though in this key it's actually chord 2. The change in key during tonicization is brief, that is the idea. It's not a full modulation, but it adds some interest, some complexity, and a stronger pull towards this new tonic sounding chord. Secondary chords can be explained in a few different ways. They can be secondary dominants, they can be passing chords, they can be substitute chords. It all depends on the context that we're changing the chord in. It's best to tonicize chords that are in that key, that are diatonic, but are not the tonic, of course, and are not leading note chords, chord 7. Now, chord 7, being a diminished or half-diminished chord, can't be made a chord 1. It can't sound like a chord 1 because it's never going to have that home. It's not got a strong sound in that context. So we don't want to tonicize those. It's only the chords that lend themselves well to being chord 1. We want to use this quite sparingly too. If we change too many chords and create a chain, it can have a great sound, but we're wandering towards modulation there. The more chords involved, the more we're kind of moving into a different key rather than just a simple brief tonicization. Tonicization enhances chord progressions, and you'll find secondary dominants all over the place. In classical, jazz, and contemporary music, here are a few famous jazz standards where they're used. So that's a very brief first look at tonicization and secondary dominants. Now, there are other kind of secondary chords that we can look at that go into more depth, create more interesting, more rich, colourful sounds, but we will be getting onto those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.